Ghost notes are not the easiest things to play on the drums. Let's see how we can improve on them. Ghost notes have mad power on the drums. They literally can make a groove sound so much better just by adding a few quiet notes in there. If you don't have ghost notes, you might not have the groovy feel that's meant to be there. Or if you do have ghost notes, they might just be too loud. You might be playing them so aggressively that the groove just sounds way too busy. I've always found that the subtler you play ghost notes, the more groovy your beat is going to sound. So today I'm going to try help you get to a place where your ghost notes are really quiet in your grooves. It's going to be a bit of a quick one. I'm just going to give you two technique things to think about with playing ghost notes, and then I'm going to give you some grooves to kind of just practice those two techniques. First technique is just how are you playing your ghost notes. So if I have a stick here, what I'm going to show you now is if I'm playing the drum. Let's say my hand is the drum here and I'm just hitting it like this. What tends to happen is most of us when we play notes on the snare is we lift our wrist to play. The moment you lift your wrist, you're getting force and gravity behind the stick here, and what ends up happening is as it drops, you get volume on the snare. So the best way that I found to play ghost notes is instead of lifting my wrist, I start with my wrist up, and instead of lifting it, it already has a little bit of height, so I can just drop it. And when I drop it like that, I get quiet notes that don't have the gravity behind them to become louder. That looks something like this on the drums. So just remember, the moment you're using force to lift your wrist up, you're not going to get as quiet notes as you could get. So raise your arm a little bit, raise your wrist a little bit, and just drop it. Think of a ghost note as a tap and not as an actual stroke. If you just think, oh, I'm just tapping the snare drum, you're going to get a quiet ghost note. But if you think I'm playing a ghost note, I'm lifting up my hand to play it, you're going to get a bit of a louder note. So that is like a huge thing, especially in my playing. I've found that mindset of just dropping and tapping lightly has made ghost notes really subtle and really sound kind of effective in grooves. The other thing to think about when playing ghost notes is just try your best not to play them in the center of the drum. The center of the snare drum, when you hit it, that is the place on any drum where if you hit it right in the middle, you get the most volume. So if you hit your ghost notes right in the middle of the snare, they're going to be the loudest ghost notes that can possibly be on the snare drum. So if you just take your stick and move it a little bit off center, it's not going to be as loud. So if you mix the dropping and tapping with a little bit off center, you're going to get a really subtle, quiet ghost note. What we're going to do now is we're going to take those two things, dropping and playing off center, and just really think about those. And I'm going to give you 5 grooves, and you're going to try apply those two things within these grooves, and that's the video for today. Hopefully after playing these grooves, you'll find out that your ghost notes are sounding a little bit better because they're a little bit softer. The last thing to think about before I get into these grooves is every time I play a normal note that isn't a ghost note, I'm going to whack the snare drum to get a rim shot. So I'm just practicing really subtle ghost notes and a really loud main note. Jumping into this first groove, I've put 2 bars here. What you're going to do is you're going to whack backbeats on beat 2 and 4 as rim shots, and then you're going to play in the first bar, you're going to play ghost notes just after the backbeat. So you're going to get this 1 and 2 ghost notes straight afterwards. So dun, dun, ga, dun, ga, ga. And then the second bar, we're going to flip it around. So we'll play the ghost note just before the backbeat. So dun, dun, ga, dun, dun, ga. And that's going to look like this on the drums. I'll play it slow and then I'll speed it up. Next exercise to work on those ghost notes is we're just going to play a single stroke roll, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, but we're going to make it a groove by putting our right hand on the hi-hat, left hand on the snare drum, and on beat 2 and 4, you're going to move your right hand over to the snare to play a rim shot. Whereas on all the off beats, on the E's and the O's, you're going to play your left hand as ghost notes. So you're going to get this chicka, chicka, kaka, chicka, 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 kaka, chicka. What you're going to end up hearing is those ghost notes are going to make this groove kind of sound like there's a shaker. If it doesn't sound like a shaker, not a chicka, then you know your ghost notes are too loud. So it really needs to be like a chicka. If it's too loud, you're gonna get this ka, which is not good. So yep, make sure you play the ghost notes as soft as possible here and in all the other exercises, but I just feel like I should tell you to do that again. Third exercise is a bit of a workout. What you're going to do here is play a 16th note groove, 16ths on the hi-hat with your right hand, and you're going to play 16ths on the snare drum with your left hand. So both hands are doing the same thing, but what you're going to do is you're going to play ghost notes on every beat possible except for beat 2 and 4. 2 and 4, you're going to whack rim shots on the snare drum. So you're going to get this 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and probably the hardest exercise I'm going to show you in this video, but it is really helpful to whack out those ghost notes and to get your wrist moving and getting used to that light tapping. Fourth exercise, we're going to play 2 ghost notes in quick succession before the backbeat on 2 and 4. We're going to play it on the E and the and, so you're going to go 1 E and then backbeat. So what this is going to do is it's just going to help you fit 2 quick ghost notes in the spaces between the hi-hat and the backbeat. Last exercise, similar to exercise 4, except now we are going to make those 2 quick notes triplets. So instead of we're going to get this which is just going to help you get a little bit faster with those ghost notes. Playing this over and over will help you develop your speed because you're playing a little bit faster in triplets. those are 5 exercises that will help you develop your ghost note playing on the snare drum. Just remember, while you play all of those, play your ghost note as a tap. You don't want to lift your wrist up to play it, just drop your wrist to get the quietest note you could possibly get, and then also just play it a little bit off center, while all the backbeats on 2 and 4 whack rim shots and in the middle of the snare drum. The louder the contrast is between backbeat and ghost notes, the better grooves are going to sound. Thanks guys, I'll see you in the next one.